Welcome to Legion's Lair. I'm Brian Burke. A guest today, Ashen Oath. Thanks for having me. Bloodstone, brother of the Orngard. Burn to ashes.
The Mayor Caspar. Like Casper. And indeed, welcome to the Legion Lair.
A
little hot.
Let's go.
Was
Was I a little early on that, or was that good?
No, you, dude. Actually,
It worked really good.
it was just create something awesome.
Yeah, dude. Usually
That's
we
what
wait
should
till
do
after
from now
the
on
music.
every time.
It
But that
felt
was
right. It
for-
felt
Why
right.
aren't we doing this?
Because I feel like there's like an anthem in there. Like we had this like background music, right? And so
Dude, exactly. You just kickstarted something here. From now
Kickstart
on,
your
that's what
Can I
we're
kickstart your heart?
doing.
I love it. God, you kickstarted it, baby.
Dude,
Listen,
you know what happens right now, Mike. It has to happen right now.
do it. God, yeah. Hold on.
You
Before you
have
do it,
created something with amazing art
Yo.
for us.
how many times have you been knighted on your last show on the Legion's Lair?
I don't know if I have been. Have I? It's been a while since I've been on it.
I've been
Was-
knighted a few.
Was the knighting
Maybe.
process available the last time I was on
It
this?
might
Oh, yeah.
not have
Oh,
been.
God, yes.
I don't.
If
is
think
you
it
didn't
though?
get knighted, that's a travesty. Do it,
That
Brad.
is right now. You will be knighted.
Yes, I can feel it.
You are Von Burke Studios.
Yes.
Ashen Oath.
Yes, I can feel it.
Feel the power.
Just
Do you
look at
feel
this
the
art.
power of
It
the
is pure
Buckeye?
ashen.
Ooh, I love it.
When he knights
I'm knighted.
someone, the power of Ohio State goes through their veins. Did you feel the power of the
felt it. I
Buckeyes?
felt it. I felt it come from the heavens down through my body. Yes, I did feel it. That was exciting.
Yes. Hopefully,
great.
we need to get Oregon on here, and we'll shoot the Buckeyes through. Okay, guys, everybody who's here, if you're new to the show, if you're new to the Legion's community, tonight our guest is Mr. Brian Burke.
What's
He
up,
is-
guys?
He is the creative mind behind and the owner of Von Burke Studios, which specializes in 3D resin parts to go along with your Four Horsemen studio product. He is launching a new action figure line on Kickstarter called Ashen Oath, which kicked off today.
Mhm.
And he is one of the pillars within this Legion's community.
Oh my goodness.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing awesome. That was quite the introduction. Quite the intro to the show. For one, I've never experienced an intro, have never been knighted before, and I've never done like a voice like intro myself like that. So a lot of firsts going on here. So I feel good, man. I'm exhausted, but I feel great. Thanks for asking.
Brad, if Brian's never been knighted before, what the hell are they doing over in England? They're doing something wrong.
You know, it's funny because I think we did go like a whole season or two, or maybe a season and a half, maybe like you said, maybe 2 seasons at least without knighting people. And I think it was just something where we brought it on. It might even been like something we did at Halloween, and it just kind of
I love that.
we brought a prop on, and next thing you know, we were doing it because there's a lot of people that were on at first, and then they watch the show and they're like, well, I wasn't knighted. What the hell? And I'm like, you will got to come on and be knighted again.
Oh my god.
But
well,
it's a
before
good.
we jump into this, Jeff Evans is in the chat. He goes on with Cosmic Jeff on YouTube at 8 o'clock. People, if we run a little bit over past 8, jump on over to his show. His show is amazing.
Nice.
You don't want to miss it, please. We are having a special episode tonight because of the kickoff, obviously, of the Ashen Oath Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my friend, the first question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you come to create Von Burke Studios?
Yeah, that's that had to been, gosh, you guys were there when I first made an appearance in the Cabal 6-7 years ago. I mean, it's crazy to think how long. You know, I look at my badges for Legions Con, right? I've been at every single since Legions Con 2 and to now, right? I've been to all of them. Even the remote one, our COVID remote, you know, Legions Con.
Yeah.
So it actually started off. I was doing some sculpts, and I was looking to do like a video game character, maybe. So I was getting some feedback from people in different groups, and I stumbled into the Cabal somehow. A couple different reasons. I was getting back into fantasy figures. I was starting to collect some like Star Wars Black Series, but it wasn't really my thing. I mean, I love Star Wars, but it just wasn't grabbing me like I wanted, you know, fantasy wise. And so, you know, I found Mythic Legions, of course, hopped into the Cabal. And if you remember, some of my earliest work were actually traditionally sculpted. I did some bone wings, dragon wings, and they were clay. And I was learning how to do silicon molding so I could build a different, larger bone wing than what Mythic Legions was doing. But I couldn't get the molds to work. Anyways, long story short, I created a few characters. They were a big hit. It was the Mortem Knight, believe it or not. So this goes way back to my earlier sculpts. The Mortem Knight was the very first character that I've ever created as an IP that ends up being a major character now in Ashen Oath. So Mortem started 7-8 years ago. And then the first in-person Legions Con I went to was at the what was the name of that place? The POW. Yeah. That was the first year that I brought the Eventide characters to my table, and it had the 4 custom Mythic Legions characters of Vesperon now, but it was Morning, it was Eve, who's the female with the red hair and the bun and the little daggers in her hair. Dual crossbows. She had the 6 Slayer dual crossbows, and the 6 Slayers was as a tribute weapon to Trevor Williams for 6 shooter, 1/6 shooter. So and she has 6 crossbow bolts in the clip. And then there was Curfew, which is now a new character in Ashen Oath. And then Umbra was kind of the magic user. So it goes back, you know, 5 or 6, 7 years or so for the characters of Ashen Oath at my beginning for Von Burke Studios. And so, you know, at the time, there wasn't a lot of producers on the market doing, you know, third-party sculpts. And so, you know, went from traditional to 3D and learned how to 3D print, and the rest is history. It's just, you know, I don't know if you guys remember, but a long time ago during the 3D printing stage, and this isn't a slam to anyone, but I would buy everyone's work, right? I would buy all the 3D, you know, third-party printers out. I just want to see what they're doing. And a lot of it that was coming back to me were just in Ziploc baggies. So I was like, oh, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. So I started doing the jewelry bag, plastic bag with the bifold topper, my logo on the front, a nice note on the back, crunchy paper for stuffing, a nice box, a sticker, a letter. And I was, you know, and I think my work wasn't as good as a lot of those guys' work. So I was just new into the market, right? But what I think happened were those were really fun to open. And so people on YouTube were doing unboxings of my work. It wasn't the greatest work in the world. It is now. Wasn't then. But I think the packaging, I think the curb appeal of it was what really stood out. And so, like I said, the rest was history from there. That's kind of a long-winded answer to how it started, but that's it.
But I can remember at Legions Con 21, you were on the back wall, if I remember correctly. Obviously, me and Mike were nobodies walking around. We were just starstruck. If you would have told me you were there every year for 100 years, I'd be like, oh, I believe you, because like your stuff looked legit. Like everyone's table was legit, but like you could kind of, there's some things that were higher than other stuff.
Totally.
And I definitely, your table was up there.
Thanks, man.
With some,
a lot of it's pretending. A lot of the stuff I do, honestly, you guys, and I'll tell you the secret. The secret is fake it till you make it. Like, try to make it look as big as you can with an affordable budget. But there's ways you can DIY things to, if you put a little care into something, you can make it look really bigger than what it is. Does that make sense?
But like, it's like, I don't know. There, like, some things look messy. Like, your stuff is always legit. It's in order. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's there's
Thanks, man.
There's a process to it. You know what I mean?
Glad it comes across that way.
You know what I mean? And sometimes people like that. They like that, like something like where there's, it's just like you were getting it. You know what I mean? And your table had that.
Thank you.
It when you walked by, for
Thank
sure.
you. Thanks for saying that. And what I hope it does, it translates to this moment, today of Kickstarter, that when people, I'm trying to raise a lot of money, right? And people are spending a hard-earned money on Ashen Oath. I want them to be confident that I'm going to come through with this, that I have experience in fulfilling product. I have experience in customer service. I have experience in relationship building. I have experience in producing something, right? And I just wanted people to feel confident with their investment, that they're not just investing in Ashen Oath, they're investing in me, right? That's the ultimate thing, is like they are investing in me to carry this project. And that's what I'm going to do. And all this time, I mean, honestly, guys, from 7 years ago, my first Legion's Con to my first thing I shipped out, I've always thought one day I'll have a commercial product and people will remember these moments. They'll remember, do things as if no one's watching you, right? Like, just always live, always live not to show people, but live a purpose as if no one's even there watching, right? And so one day people can come back and have evidence of it and say, no, I was there. Just like, Brad, you saying, I remember your table back against the wall. It just looked, you guys are my witness, right? You're my witness to what we are here today for Ashen Oath and Kickstarter, that I do come through on logistics or, a trustworthy brand. So those are things I feel I've been thinking about for many years for this moment.
And you can, I guess, say that you're definitely a OG. You've been around, you've been here since the beginning, and you were, I remember there were other people that had your print. It was kind of like in the beginning, there's not a lot of people doing the 3D printing.
Correct.
There wasn't a lot to go. There's only a handful of people to go through, and you were on that handful. So you can, everyone can give a little attaboy to people like you, who are like one of the godfathers, like the OGs of this, who helped inspire a lot of other artists to even do their own thing or help drive them. Which is cool too, because the community has grown, obviously.
Oh my gosh, it's been insane. And I think the important thing to understand too, as an artist, is staying in your lane when it comes to things, right? And the reason I say that is because there was a time where creators were kind of going against the grain a little bit with Four Horsemen Studios, with what they were creating, what they were printing, even though CB and them would say, hey, can you guys just kind of not do these things? I would be the first person to say, whatever I need to do to be in the right path, to be on your side, that's nothing against me as an artist. I mean, I think, sure, you can be a rogue artist and say, no, my artwork is the first thing. I don't care. F everyone else. No, that's not the way it works. You got to respect the people that are feeding you. I'm creating these 3D heads for their product. They're feeding me this product. If they don't like what I'm doing, that's terrible for me as an artist, terrible for me as a business. And so there were several times when I would talk to CB or just any of the guys, right, and ask them, hey, what do you feel about me doing this thing? What do you feel about me doing this other thing? I get their feedback first. Here's a funny story. So one of my first customs I did wasn't a 3D printed custom. It was a Death Knight. It was, I got to show you guys. I never bring this guy out.
Yes.
Do it. Bring him out.
You guys will remember this guy.
I'm sure I will.
Oh my God. I just broke one of my prototypes.
No.
Oh, no. Look at this. Oops.
Oh no.
That's okay. Super glue, baby.
I was about to say, you used up all the glue on purpose.
That's right. All right. So this guy right here, if you remember,
Oh my
this
God.
is all traditionally sculpted. So this is my first Mortem Knight. The chest is 3D or is sculpted. And look at this. I don't know if it'll work now, but if you, it was a
Oh
mouth.
wow.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Remember
I
that?
see that now, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh
So this-
yes.
This is all clay. So this is all polymer clay
Wow.
that I did. Okay. So the story about this guy. So yeah, this is what inspired the Mortem Knights, basically. So the story behind this was originally he was called the Necronominus Bodyguard. And the story was, and this was 7 years ago, right? When I first came into the Cabal. The story was there's this battlefield, and the bodyguard teleports in the middle of this battlefield. No one knows who he is. Like, oh my God, who's, they don't even know what it is. So Necronominus is coming, right? His bodyguards teleport in first. Necronominus comes in, right? I had this whole story. It was wicked, right? CB wrote me and goes, this is awesome. I love the idea, but is this going to be a commercial thing that you want to produce? This is all in the back end, right? I said, oh, I don't know. It's just a custom character. He's like, okay, just to let you know that there may or may not be those characters coming out in the future of our IP. If you can, kind of keep it, maybe change the name a little bit. I said, oh yeah, no problem. And when he wrote me, I was like, I felt kind of honored. Like if I'm on their radar, I'm like, holy shit, it was like an honor to get that. And so since then, it's always been this open communications with, CB and them, and say, hey, what do you think about this idea? Or just had this mutual respect and friendship with them for many years. And so we're going to get into this a little bit later, but this is why I think them allowing my project to be a part of their production, as far as production overseas in their project management works, because they could have said no because of it looking similar or something like that, a conflict of interest or whatever it's going to be. So going back to the whole staying in your lane and not going against the grain, it's those kind of relationships I think is really important to establish early, and really respecting them to gain the camaraderie of people. That way you have an open lane to do different things, that I just went off on a weird tangent just based off that custom character.
He's like Maxilius the Harvester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he's awesome.
So you are right, but you are wrong, Brian. So when you talk about your early stuff with Von Burke Studios, you present the stuff really well, packaging, all that. But your early stuff was good. Remember that early screaming vampire when they didn't have a head for Baron Vollinger?
Yeah.
You remember that one? So good. And you came out with early orc heads, didn't you?
Yeah, I had an early orc head, and also that one you're speaking of was the Verdo orc. It was the vampire. It was a converted orc, right? And he had this gnarly, like screaming profile. I have that somewhere.
Carlo.
So your stuff has been good from the beginning.
This was one of my original 3 characters. And that was the vampire orc.
Yeah.
That was 7 years ago. But yeah.
Didn't you make one for the size of a ogre too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Carlo.
Yeah, I can remember in the beginning, you'd go to Legion's Con, especially that one. I wasn't aware of it at that time, but I was buying other people's stuff. It was your 3D prints, but their paint, they painted it where I'm like, oh, that's kind of, and didn't know it was yours because, but I thought that was cool that I look back and I'm like, wow, it's like your stuff was on all, it was like I said, there's only a handful of people. So it's like, to see your stuff on everyone's table at a time, it
was so crazy. You know what? That's an interesting story. Around that time, I don't know if you guys remember Customizer's Corner. It was a spot they had on the
Source Horseman.
Source Horseman site, and they would feature custom artists at the time, right? And I
Yep.
thought, God, that is my North Star. I need to get on that. Like, how do I get on that? And I remember thinking to myself, that is such a far-fetched idea at where I'm at. And then what happened was Joe Vasapolo was featured on it, right? And he showed off one of my head sculpts that he painted. I go, I did it. I made it. So I was like indirectly like, I made it on there. It was so cool. And then, you know, a year later or something that I was featured on Customized Corner, you know, later. But it was just one of those moments where I saw that he had posted that, and it felt so good. And I wrote him, and I was like, Joe, oh my God, thank you so much. You made my dream come true. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this is why, because this is amazing. It's just like a funny story of how that came to be. But kind of going back to what you were saying, Brad, about my pieces getting painted by others, it resonated in different ways. That was really important to me, because my idea initially was, how can I inspire creativity, right, with a canvas? Like, I love doing the sculpting, I love doing the painting as well, but can it inspire people to paint as well? And that fills my cup, right? And so that was one of those moments. It was just such an important moment in my life to see the Customizers Corner piece with my head, because it like did everything for me at that moment. It was awesome.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about the premise of the action figure line, that when you started doing this, you always thought about having an actual production product.
Totally.
How did you come to want to create your own action figure line?
1992. Between 1992 and 1994, Power of the Force 2 came out. Star Wars, where everyone was so muscular. Remember those when they were huge, like yoked up, like it was just huge. Even Princess Leia was like huge, right? I was like, oh my God, I saw them at a Payless, and so I bought the whole first series. I go, this is great. So what I did was, one of my favorite action figures of all time is the AT-AT driver. You know, it's just a cool character. And so around that time, I think I took a stormtrooper and just cut it up and made my own version of it. And the second character I really wanted was a Darth Vader with removable helmet. So I took the Darth Vader of that series, hollowed out his head, dremeled it out, did my own traditional sculpt head, and the helmet fit over. I wish I still had it. Did my own card for it, and then ended up selling it at some like collector's marketplace or something. But that was the early days where it's like, gosh, this would be really neat to reimagine characters on a commercial level. And that was, like I said, mid 90s when I'm dating myself, but yeah, that was that's where it all started. That really sparked me wanting to create some kind of an action figure that was like my own vision of something. Although, you know, those were IPs, you know, through Lucas and everything, but I was like, I want to make stuff like that. That was cool, you know. So that goes, and then, you know, coming into you know, back into the action figure scene with Four Horsemen and stuff like that, just seeing all that, it's like, oh, okay, here we go. Let's take baby steps. Let's do heads. Let's just do heads and pauldrons and some weapons and not get too crazy. Just stay in my lane, you know, because some of that feature creep can really get you in trouble. And so it's taken a while for me to actually get into articulation and body forms, but here we are. We made it.
So this was 34 years in the making.
Yeah.
Wow. A dream,
like literally
going to come true.
You know, it's that common thing that people say. It's like, gosh, you know, it only takes you 5 minutes or an hour to do that thing. No, it's actually taken me 30 years to make this thing, right? It's like, it takes a lot of experience, a lot of things, a lot of, you know, F-ups and whatnot to get where you're at. So,
well, so your Kickstarter is called Athenosh. Brian, you've kept it a secret up until, I don't know if you've revealed it yet or if you can, but who are the people who have been involved in making the Ashen Oath action figure line a reality, and what part have they played?
Yeah, I mean, my number one, obviously, is my family, right? For them to be able to, you know, manage me being 16 hours a day working on things and hopping in and out of the studio or in and out of the lab. They're the number one. My wife, my daughter, you know, if you guys have met Gigi Von Burke, she is she's a big supporter and helper when I do Von boxes and things like that. And I get some videos with her every so often. She comes to Legion's Con every so often. She's a major dancer now. She dances like 20 hours a week. So getting her to come out there around November is impossible. So I wish I could bring her. But my family is, I would say, the number one supporter, of course. They get to see all my craziness. You guys get to see the fun stuff. Like, oh, hey, this is great. And they they see the dark side. They see where Ashen Oath really comes from. Like, oh yeah, no, it makes sense where it comes from. Everyone else is like, oh, this is really cool. It's fantasy and it's exciting. And it's like, yeah, it comes from a dark place. But
I love it.
I know it comes from
reality, dude.
Yeah. Totally. I'm gonna look over here because I have a list. There's a lot of people, and I'm gonna miss people, but like mentioning earlier, CB and the Four Horsemen have been awesome about just everything. Chris and George and Bill's my project manager. But all those guys, Joe Vaspolos has been, this is funny. I haven't said this to anyone, so this is gonna be the first time I'm saying it on the show. Is there was a moment when I wrote Joe and I said, hey, I'm creating the Mortem my Mortem Knights basically, and I feel like I'm putting too many skulls on it. Like there's skulls on the knees and there's skulls on the like lapel area, there's skulls here, and I feel it's kind of too much. What do you think? What do you think as a designer? He's like, dude, they're Death Knights. They need to have skulls. They need lots of skulls. Like, and I was like, oh my God. And I felt like at that moment I was holding myself back. And then he says, no, go. And I was like, then all of a sudden, the chainmail, there it goes. The chainmail turned to all skull heads. There's no chain links in the Mortem, residence. It's all skulls in there. Here's skulls here. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. So I owe a lot to Joe for having those kind of conversations too. We have some interesting back and forths about that. So I give him a lot of credit. So that goes to the Four Horsemen team as far as being a supporter of the growth of Ashen Oath. And then, some of the major creators of current toy lines, Jason from AWOC, I'll tell you what, he's like the Pharrell Williams of, being the inside track of here's my experience of, making action figure lines, and super, super cool guy. Jason is like one of the nicest guys to just offer so much time to help you out. He's just been amazing. Marco, from Legendary. I mean, speaking of a company who's gone through so much in the past couple of years to bring an action figure to life, talking about like tariff situation and releasing a really ambitious line that's beautifully done, and then to have all these things happen. It was just, it's just incredible to see the fortitude of someone like that to come through. So having him, in the wings of, with feedback and support has been incredible. And then, I have a new friend. So Craig from Cryptoids, he's one of the head guys of the Cryptoids, has been a really, really, really great resource for saying, hey, if you need anything, like we're doing the Kickstarter, they're in the Kickstarter right now. They crushed it. Within the first 36 hours, they got funding of like 200 plus, or we're at 160. I can't remember what their initial goal was, but they funded like in 36 hours, and they were just crushing over 200,000 K in funding. So he's been a really great resource to say, hey, if you need anything, here's what's going on. This is how the world is working in Kickstarter. It's my first one. This is what he said. If there's anything you need to know, let us know. So that community, those people that are creators, are so open and helpful about your own projects. And there's not like any pretentiousness about, no, I'm going to hold this really close to my, to my chest and not let anyone know. Here's a secret sauce. No, they're just like, you want to know how many of these things I've sold? This is how much I've sold. They do really well. You want to know that? What else you want to know? They've just been awesome. Roberto Suarez. You guys might know Roberto Suarez.
Yeah,
that guy's been amazing. Dude, this guy, I'll tell you what's so funny about him is he is like a caged animal that is just like, let me out. I got these ideas. I'm going to do this, boom, boom, boom. And he just starts flying with it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I tell my wife all the time, I was like, Roberto has like the craziest ideas, but I need that in my life. Like I need him to go, I need someone to kind of hold back, say, whoa, hold on, come back here for a second. This is how it goes, and he's just been an awesome motivator and truly someone who's like, whatever you need, Brian, I'm there. Whatever you got, here's what it is. And the way I met him was Legion's Con a few years ago. he just randomly reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm from Portland. I got the lottery for the intern for a day. Would you like to come with me?" And I was like, "Who is this guy?" I'm kind of private, you know, in my personal life. I'm a little more on the private side. I'm like, "Who is this guy?" Like, you know, talking to my wife, I was like, "I don't know," you know. So I took a big chance on, you know, getting Airbnb with this guy, and you know, and we ended up being like best friends. So that was an amazing experience. Yeah, great help to everyone in the communities. And then Bill from Dorklair, there, you know, there's several, you know, of the guys I have so much respect for that are out there doing shows like yourselves, obviously, Trevor and everyone. But Bill's always been this guy who, you know, Dorklair is such a cool brand because he's such a nurturer when it comes to things. You know, he's a teacher. He really comes across that way when he's talking to you in the back end. Whenever he speaks about my product or my project, he really sounds like he believes in me. Like, not that he just likes the product, but he believes in me. And I love that. It feels natural, and it feels really, really good. Just to any comment he makes or anything that he ever does, I feel it like it's family. And so those kind of things, talking about Ashen Oath, really makes me feel like I'm in the right place at times, just with his feedback, and then him saying, of all the projects I'm going to back, Ashen Oath is going to be one of the biggest ones I'm on board with. And I'm like, God, that means a lot to me, you know? And so it's those kind of.
And he had said this a little bit ago.
Oh, I didn't even realize he was in the chat. I'm embarrassed now.
Brian has a singular vision. It's a rare thing, a level of focus most people don't have. Oh
my God. See, that just, my glasses are steaming up.
The respect level between is definitely mutual. I see between both of you.
So yeah, and then last but not least, I have, you know, all the well, for one, if you go to the website and go to the blog, you'll see the part 1 and part 2 of the Ashen Oath story. It's the story that brings you up to speed on what the characters are all about. Really short reads. It's like maybe 10 minutes of reading most in the lore, and it's such a deep, saturated 10 minutes of reading that you really get an idea and the feel of the darkness of Ashen Oath. And the reason it's that way is Zach Roberts approached me and said, "Hey, I'm a writer, really love what you're doing. Give me a shot and write up a story about part 2 of what you're doing," you know? And so he wrote him, he just knocked it out of the park. It was fantastic. So if you go to the site, you'll see when Corthanis, this village, gets raided by the Mortem, and how he actually becomes, he has to wear the armor, the Mortem armor, to survive and go on his vengeance. The whole writing of the story was just fantastic. So Zachary, I think his family likes to call him Zachary or Zach, you know, so it kind of goes either way. But he's been a huge help in bringing the Ashen Oath story to life. And then the 3 other people are the musicians behind The Fall of Aravath, a lullaby that you guys have heard on social media, Instagram. Clara Wright, she does the vocals for that track. It's a beautiful song. Like, what I wanted to do, I love contrast, and what I really wanted to do, and I wanted to paint this picture. And I was speaking to someone the other day, had nothing to do with toys, nothing. They said, "Tell me about what you do. What are you doing?" I said, "Imagine this. Imagine a battlefield, major battlefield, knights, you know, armor just crashing and blood and all this stuff. And what are you thinking? What are you thinking right now? Like, what music are you thinking about right now?" It's like, "Oh, I'm thinking heavy metal." And like, "Oh, it's like, I'm like, "I know, me too." I go, "But what about this?" And so I queued up the lullaby. I go, "Now picture in your head the slow motion battlefield, hardcore. And there's this lullaby, this beautiful woman singing this lullaby as it's happening." And they're like, "Oh my God, I'm getting chills." That's the contrast of Ashen Oath I want to convey. I want this thing that's so dark that you introduce something soft, and that softness feels epic, right? I want brightness, chrome, light to be a beacon, to be really important. When you have that already in place or higher, you can't go much higher than that. But with Ashen Oath, when it's so drabby and dark, it just gets up there. So the music, I think, have you guys ever watched like major action clips of like the theatrical music sounds, but when they put other music to, like clown music, you're like, "Oh my God, it's so," like, you watch these trailers, like, this is hilarious. Music makes a piece so much more emotional, right? And so Claire did a great job with that. Drew Hall did my the Mortem song, the epic battle, the typical battle scene music you would hear. These are all on Spotify, by the way. So if you want to look up The Fall of Aravath or the Mortem song, those two songs are on like Spotify and all major streaming platforms. And then last but not least, this is a really cool one. Jeff Kresge he's been in bass player for AFI. It's a alternative punk band that some of you might know. He was also bass player for a group called the Tiger Army, and then also for Fear. He ended up following me one time on Instagram, and I was just so honored because those were three of my favorite childhood like punk alternative bands. Like, oh my god, he's following. This is crazy. He had those moments, and so I just wrote to him. I said, gosh, it'd be cool someday if maybe write a track or do something, just so I could have that credit, And he did. He ended up writing in Ashen Oath this really cool soundscape that's in my video, in the Kickstarter video. So once I finished speaking, there's this little lull where the credits come in. That music in the background is his bass playing with this really crazy effect on it. So that was a long answer to your question of the people that were behind it, but mostly, I mean, it's just been the fans, really, Instagram followers, friends, people like yourselves that have just any little thing saying what you do is awesome. We love what you're doing. We love how this thing is this, all that stuff. I read it all and it's just my oxygen, right? It's like all of it just keeps me going. That support has just been incredible. So the community has been just huge. And I'm missing a ton of people. But as far as the core that really brought Ashen Oath to where it is that, but there's a lot of supportive cast. I mean, when you watch a movie and there's all those names at the very end of it, there's a lot of those. Yeah. I just don't have time to say that, but there's a ton of people out there that have been instrumental in the growth of my brand and, the release of Ashen Oath. So, yeah.
Nice.
I talked a lot on that one.
No.
So let's go ahead, Brad.
No, I just said hydrate.
Hydrate. Let's go to the Kickstarter page, and we'll have we'll keep on going down the page, and you just walk us through the whole page, if you would.
For sure. Yeah, here we are. We're at almost 50,000. 50,000 will be 30% funding, within the first half day. We lost a few hours today, if not more, due to crashing of the site or just, glitches or whatnot. So, a half day result, not too bad. 222 backers. I'm not sure. We're probably close to 1,000 followers on the page. I don't know if does it show followers anymore after the pre-launch?
Oh boy,
maybe it does. I don't think it does.
I don't think it does.
But leading up to the moment right before I pushed launch, I think we're at 938 on the pre-launch page. So that was great.
Really good.
Another cool thing is if you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the video page, it says Projects We Love. One day before the launch of Kickstarter, I got an email from a Kickstarter say, hey, we just want to let you know we nominated you as a project we love. And so I was like, oh my God, that is like one of the most honorable badges you can get for Kickstarter, because what it is it's not based on an algorithm or it's not based on performance or anything. It's based on someone at Kickstarter really, truly loving your project and say, nice. I want to give them that badge. And that was really cool. And since then, this morning, I got emails from the staff just in support of, the launching of Ashen Oath and all these different things. So that little badge down there really, really means a lot to me, because it was just someone literally saying, we endorse you. And it was really cool to see.
Nice.
And then what you see here is, the first, the 6 characters in the in wave 1. Wave 1's called the Mortem Song. So we have Corthanis in the front there. To his right is Vesperon. He is the leader of the Eventide. He's a vampire himself that was turned, unfortunately, which inspired him or motivated him to go on a rampage to find the vampire empire. And that's a high level. I can't really get into the exact details because it's a little bit of a secret right now. I want to keep it pretty vague. But basically, he is another example of the Ashen Oath, like coming from the ashes and having an oath to, redeem himself or his family or what he's lost. And so that's him. To our right, I guess, looking at the screen, that's Curfew. He is an OG character of mine through Von Burke Studios. He is an ex Mortem bodyguard. So he was a bodyguard to the Mortem King and was outcasted. And, Vesperon wanted to form a powerful group to go against elite monsters. And so, he found Curfew and became part of the team. They're not the best people in the world. They're goodish characters. So imagine them seeing like a village being ransacked by bandits. They would probably just say, it's not our thing. We have vampire lords to kill. We have Mortem to kill. That's not our thing. I have a character coming though that is that guy. So imagine like a Mandalorian type personality character. I have one of those coming. So he's gonna be I'm so excited for this guy. But there is going to be truly good people that have a really good moral compass, but the Eventide are not that. They're almost as good as you're going to get for this point that and then to the very end to the right, you have, which was a surprise for me, this is the Talon Watch. So the Talon Watch is the backbone, that guy there, the backbone army of, I guess you could call it the army builder for Ashen Oath. But he has become the favorite. Like everyone has said, gosh, that is like my favorite character right now. He's all black armor, you got dual wielding, like their talons. They're like a talon kind of looking weapon. Super, super cool character. That's going to be a stretch goal unlock, but that's who that guy is. But then if you go to the other side of Corthanis in the white armor, if you read the story, you'll learn why his armor's white. It's because it's like his true essence kind of came through and burned away the blackness of the armor. It's really cool. When it happens in the story, you got to read it. It's pretty badass. And then next to him is the Choirmorn. He is the elite Mortem, champion, so to speak. He is the one responsible for killing Corthanis's father. Basically, it's his adopted father, someone he really, really cared about. Like really, Vaynor was his name, but Corthanis, Kaladin actually. So here's an interesting story that you guys probably don't know unless you read the story, is that Corthanis in the middle there, that's his Aravath name. Let me turn off my Facebook chime. He is an orphan, and so his adopted name was Kaladin. So he came into the village, was named Kaladin. He later became Corthanis. That's his official name as from the Aravath people. So you'll learn that in the story. But the Choirmorn to the left there, usually it features a helmet. So if you look in the page, we'll get down to it, but he wears a helmet. But he is the one who ends up killing Corthanis and sends Corthanis on the rampage. And it's the armor. So Corthanis is wearing the Choirmorn armor that gets converted. And then the army builder, we have the Mortem Resonant at the end there. And that's your standard mass army of the Mortem.
So, Brian, with these characters, the Mortem, are those humans under there with skull helmets on, or are they're actually skeletons? Skeletons.
And I had somebody had mentioned one, I think it was on Instagram, that they were wondering about the sizing of the heads. Like they look like they'd be helmets, so to speak. But the pictures, like these front pictures, the heads look a little bit bigger than they are in person. So if you look at some of the photography, like some of the true photography, you'll be able to see it's a little more proportional to what a skull would be. Anything smaller, they kind of look like a pinhead a little bit. So I want to stay away from that proportion.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then to navigate the site, some people that are first time coming to Kickstarter, the very left hand side of the page is pretty much your quick navigation titles. So if you need to find something on the left hand side, you can click through them and it'll have you it'll take you to the places you want to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
So basically this is the whole story as you can scroll down.
Yeah. And then the very top menu, when you see campaign rewards, creator fact, updates, the rewards is where if you want to click straight to that, that'll go to like just all the products in the lineup. So that's just a quick tutorial of how the Kickstarter pages. It gets kind of confusing to people sometimes when they first come to it.
So there's the all-in.
That's the all-in. So that's going to be the product that takes that includes everything. So all the unlocks. And then there's one other character that's not shown. So the price includes another stretch character that I haven't announced yet. He's actually primered right now, and I haven't done the paint master on it yet. So I'll make a reveal on that as it's gonna be one of the carrots I dangle. Another one of those little aces up my sleeve kind of things I don't want to reveal quite yet.
Nice.
And then I set up too, so anytime you click an item or if you go to pledge an item, there will be optional add-ons that'll populate on the opposite side. So you can select anything from the Ashen Oath product lineup to add to you can create your own bundles. It won't discount it, but at least it's just there available showing, hey, do you want to add this? Do you want to add this? Do you want to add this? And some things are only as add-ons, like the poster is only an add-on, the bracelet's an add-on, and the black and gold enamel pin is an add-on only. And this green cup was actually it's blue. It's more green here.
Oh,
not intentional for Ashen Oath, by the way.
nice.
So yeah.
So why the green in their eyes? The mortem, is that certain magical power?
Yeah, I love it. I've always loved the concept of, green is oftentimes associated with like necromancy and just dark evil, right? And the green and black just looked really good. It felt natural to the Ashen Oath space. And so especially with the gold and black, the greens, and then you introduce some reds with the blacks. It makes for a really neat, dark fantasy, grim, dark color palette. So the green just was perfect for it.
Nice.
And anything you see glowing green, it will be an influence. So the mortem all have, the green eyes, and then Corthanus himself has green eyes too, because they're all being influenced by the Stone of Radiance. So again, if you read the story, part 1 of the story, you'll understand that the reason a lot of things are happening is because of that stone. It all stems from a special like green crystal.
So that's like the MacGuffin. That's the big, like the He-Man power sword, the crystal. Nice.
Yeah, and that's why we have the ethereal edition of the mortem resonant. That's going to be a translucent plastic, green plastic. It's a fun one. So what I wanted with this one, I wanted the idea that, initially when they are killed or destroyed in some way, they evaporate kind of like this ethereal green glow just escapes it. It's like their soul basically, and the armor falls. I wanted to have that vibe, and then I wanted people to, if they pick this one up, to be able to swap the heads out. So if you had just like a full armored character with the translucent green skull, it would be awesome looking, right? And so you can part swap some of the pieces to make it look like it's a new character, right? You can make it like a spectral version of a mortem resonant, or create your own. Maybe it's another hero character that joined the Eventide or something, So, yeah, that was that.
Yeah, that dude's really cool. I really like
it. Yeah. And then you have the weapon too, so you have that weapon, so that would be fun too.
No doubt. I was checking that out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a 3-pack too.
Yeah, so there is a artist blank. So there's an individual artist blank that is $35. And it's kind of like your test shot, so to speak. It's not a test shot because these are like full production. Test shots are more limited. This would be like your artist proof that like McFarlane does, where you can paint them yourselves, or they just look really cool. Like they take light really well. Like, how you have your test shot displayed. Light just loves these things, right? And so I wanted to have something that, for one, people can customize, but two, for just to be able to, where you can appreciate the detail with just a solid color. And so you save $5 per character if you buy the set of 3. So
that sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, totally. So you just build your army and then just hammer them with a black primer, dry brush them, and you're set to go. You got an hour's worth of customizing, and you got a badass army for $90. I mean, it's a fun set to have.
No doubt. Yeah, I love it. Those all
Nice.
come with different hands and different.
Yeah, they have 2 sets of extra hands, so 3
and they come
total.
with a sword. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fist and then like a holding hand, or it's kind of a holding evil point hand, so to speak. That's your army builder set. So these are the fully painted, the Mortem Resident, $45 a piece.
Nice.
Buy all 3 and you have $5 off each character.
And this is the one of the characters that's offered in the all-in, right? The army builder.
All of them are. Every single, like every individual character is in the all-in package and all the future unlocks. So any of the stretch goal characters, the Eventide, and that secret character that I've been talking about is in there too. You also get the other stretch goal item is the weapons pack. There's a Morn weapons pack that consists of a scythe that has the kind of like the Choir Morn sword, but has a scythe, a single-headed axe, and a short sword. That's another unlock that will be included in the all-in as well.
Gotcha.
Nice. We need a scythe. So
yeah, totally.
There's 3 characters right now that are up for order.
Yeah, 5 total if you include variants.
And the variants.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what happens if I click on this? Can I show people that? Can I click on this? So that we'll just pretend like we're gonna back.
Exactly. Yep, and then you get a pick. You can go through there and pick what you are looking for.
So the all-in bundle is $393, and it comes with. It says in green that any stretch goal. So people, if you get this bundle, if you can afford this bundle, you're getting all the stretch goals for free.
Everything. So if you want to one-click all, like I just not even want to think about it, here's what you get. Yeah.
This is the deal, man.
Yeah, you save 50. I think you save $50, 50 plus. I think it's maybe 55 or 53 or something dollars on that bundle. So you're getting a free figure basically if you're looking to get the whole set. Like if you're wanting it set anyways.
Once you start to open stretch goals, you're saving even more if you do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's all included basically. So it includes the whole price of the stretch goal character. So
gotcha. Okay.
Now here's the deal. If we don't unlock the stretch goal characters, you'll get a credit to go towards any of the other figures. So you don't lose out on anything. You just get a credit towards if you need more of the builders or if you want something, more of the translucent characters, you can just shift it to that. And it's only 3 characters basically. So you're,
Nice.
Yeah.
So then this next one is the Mortem Resonant,
yeah.
Artist blank, and that's $35. So this is the one people can paint up without a border.
Yep.
The next one is the Resident Mortem, which is the your Legion builder.
Yep.
For the bad guys.
Yep.
At $45.
Yes, sir.
And both those we just mentioned, they come in 3 packs.
Yes.
I think the Resident Mortem was for $120, a 3-pack, and then $90 for the blanks.
Correct.
Yep, there they are.
Yes, sir.
And then there's the blanks.
Nice. And then the other figures we can get right now. So it's this Choir Morn.
Yep. He's the champion. Comes with the helmet. His,
Let's see this. So each one's looks like the swords are different, are they? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I have the 1-to-1 sword right here in my hand that I brought to Legion's Con.
Oh my gosh! Here, let me give it. That's my favorite one, obviously.
This
is so cool.
This changed. So I was in a rush to get this sword done for the show. So I basically took this sculpt that I did and just repeated it across the blade. The new one has a different variation. So these are more like souls.
Okay.
The new one actually has skulls, and I think there's 3 or 4 different variations of skulls I just staggered through, so it created more variety in the blade. It looks more, I don't know, it makes more sense for the blade. So this one was, like I said, this was just a prototype mock-up.
It's freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, this thing was great.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I should have offered something like this on Kickstarter, like a full 1-to-1. You know, CB, he came to my table at Legion's Con, and he saw the sword up there. He's like, you've got to do that for Kickstarter. Like, just do a few of them. There's gonna be super fans out there that'll buy that thing. And I tried to find a company that could produce them for me, and I just couldn't make it happen. But I really wanted to. Maybe in the future, if I can find someone to produce these swords, I'll do something.
James says you need to be knighted with this sword.
You know,
yeah,
Brad, you know we should have done it. We should have had your sword, and I should have done this.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Genius.
About that. Yeah, it is a genius.
Well, hey, Brian, you do realize you're probably going to get knighted again before the end of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So have that sword ready, man.
Okay.
Have that sword ready. So this guy is $45.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the next guy? So this is the human type character.
He's our hero. You know, he's our hero who's got tunnel vision. You know, he's seeing red right now, and the Eventide have no idea what to do with this guy, right? I really want you guys to read the story, but at a high level, the Eventide come to this village because a lot of stuff's going down in this village. Curfew is feeling the vibe of the Stone of Radiance, right? Because he's part Mortem, so he knows something's going on. So they're attracted to this village. They get there, and I'll tell you what, everyone has a tough time beating the Mortems. Like, they just can't kill these things. Even the Mortem Resonant he's really difficult to kill, let alone a Quiremorn, right? Quiremorn's the champ. You just can't kill those guys. So here they imagine this. They arrive at this village, and here's Corthanus basically touching their armor, and they're evaporating left and right. And they're like, what is this, like a chaos thing? Are they fighting each other? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad? They just don't know who this guy is. And so the whole thing is it's an awesome moment for Corthanus to make this appearance in his like vengeful state, where the Eventide, who are the elite monster hunters, have no idea what he is, and they want him on his side, or it's another thing that they need to fight, because if he can kill Mortem like that, they're in big trouble. Like, that is a god, right, to them. And so there's going to be something in the story later on. You're going to see this tension between Corthanus and everyone. So, but he is a good guy. He was the sweetest kid, you guys. Like, in the story, he's the guy who saves the fly out of a spider web. Like, he's like, here you go, friend, let me help you out. And, you know, fly buzzes off. He's just a good kid, right?
So,
and then things just went south.
Brian, how come he is human, but the rest of the Mortem are skeletons?
Yeah, it's because oh, you know what?
You can't give it away?
I'm not going to say it right now. I almost did, but there's a reason why.
Michael, don't do this.
I'm sorry. I'm interested in the lore.
Yes. There's a reason why the armor is having, conflicts with him. The armor speaks to him. It whispers to him like it does with any soul or body that it takes on. But the union with Corthanus is much different because of Corthanus's heritage. That's all I'll say. Okay. And so there's something about Corthanus that it has block. I don't want to say block, but it has it has like evolved into something else. And so he's a really special character because of these things.
Okay. I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Cool. So then the next figure, he's a $45 figure.
Oh, here.
Then the next figure is your your see-through plastic.
Yes.
Figure, and that's the green figure.
Mm-hmm.
He's 45 also.
No, I think he's 50. Is he 45 or is he 50?
I think he's 50.
50.
Yeah.
Back here.
And I wanted that character, that green one, to be the same price as my non-deco, the non-painted one. But interesting enough, the materials to manufacture this character is quite expensive. So I'm not sure exactly the total reasoning behind it, but I know the materials is more expensive, and so I had to, incorporate that into the price. So it's a very special, very special material. It's very ethereal. The plastic is very magical.
Nice.
So what we just went through is what the people can choose as a reward, correct?
Yes, sir.
And is there any other items like in the all-in, you also get a pin?
Yeah.
You get different things. Is there also a way the people out there can get these extra items that are in the all-in, purchasing them separately after they choose a reward, or no?
Oh, you know what? Actually, yes. Yeah. So if you select a character, like if you buy any of the characters, you can pick the bracelet, the pin, or the poster as an add-on. You just can't buy it a la carte.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, it's kind of like the Four Horsemen's Kickstarter with the role-playing game. Yeah. Okay. Now, Brian, my next question to you, Brad, if you can go back out to the original page. Now we know what we can get now in the Kickstarter. What are these? What are the stretch goals that are coming? There's 3 or 4, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have the Eventide characters. So we have Vesperon, we have Curfew, we have Talonwatch are the next unlocks. And within that grouping, we have the weapons pack, the Morin weapons pack that has the scythe, the short sword, and the single-headed axe as well.
Okay. Let's see if we are there pictures of these guys on the Kickstarter page?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I go down? Is there any pictures down this way?
Is Kickstarter hanging up? You can go to my Instagram too. If you just go to Instagram, I believe I showcased most of the photos that are being shown on Kickstarter as well.
Oh, sorry. I was doing stuff, but you guys weren't seeing it. There we go. Yeah. Can we see them down this way?
I think it's up. I think if you, so if you go to unlock Vesperon to the left menu, the quick select, go down a little bit. Yeah, on that side there, unlock Vesperon, unlock Talonwatch. There you go.
Up. Yeah.
Up. Any of the unlocks, you can see what the stretch goals are.
Okay.
There you go. If you roll up, you'll see the other 2. We can go to the top. There you go. Right there. Down one more.
Oh.
And that's Vesperon. So he's the first of the 3 unlocks.
He's the first.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And he comes with a CJSM cloak. CJ and I worked together on designing that cloak. It's a super, the clasp in the front has like this leather strap with like a nickel plated ring. It's perfect for like this dark fantasy vibe. Distressed around the bottom. It's distressed with, throughout the mid part of the cloak. It's a perfect piece for the Eventide. So that comes with it. You get the Menpo mask, and then the 2 sets of extra hands and the sword, of course. So it's more of a deluxe character at $55.
Wow. So what's the mask again?
It's a Menpo mask. So it's an armored mask. So in Japanese culture, there's 2 masks. There's an Oni mask, and then there's a Menpo mask. So Oni masks are usually paper, ceremonial, like paper mache masks, and they're more of a ceremonial kind of thing, right? Menpo masks were actually meant to be more of armor. So they are armored masks, so they are functional. But I designed them in a way where, Vesperon just really does not like vampires. Like, he hates vampires. And so all the armor embellishments is all mocking vampires. Like the left shoulder pauldron has a vampire with his eyes rolled back and there's a sword through his head. And then the mask is like mocking, like he's mocking himself because it's like a vampire winged, Menpo mask. And then some of the embellishments on the armor are like these sad vampire faces. I mean, dude, it's dark. It's really dark, but Yeah.
So he's the one who was changed into the vampire
Yeah.
and they killed his family.
Mm-hmm.
That's where this hate comes from.
Yeah.
Now, can we, in subsequent waves, we're probably going to see vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness.
There was a I may stick with this name, but the main vampire's name is Arrogance. His name is Arrogance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a wild name. I know, but I love matching like real world word names with as being a named name. So Arrogance was just so great for this pretentious vampire lord, right? And that's who Vesperon ultimately is after. So yes, there will be vampire characters in the Ashen Oath world.
Now he unlocks at 230,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Kickstarter to fund is 150.
Correct.
We are currently just 12 hours in with the hiccups. We are currently a third of the way there.
Yeah, got 30% in.
Yeah, you're well on our way. Now, what's the next unlock?
Oh, so yeah, so these actually were all the same unlocks. So you have Vesperon, Curfew, and then Talon Watch are all unlocks of the same amount.
Gotcha.
Okay. So at 230, we get all these cats.
Yeah.
Nice. You're right. That Talon Watch looks really good.
Oh my God. It was a bigger hit than I thought. You know, he's gonna be a great one to army build too. Just having a bunch of those guys is gonna be really cool.
Those little daggers, yeah.
How about taking a skull head off of one of the modem and putting him on that black armor?
Yes, dude. Or the green, like the ethereal green glowing skull on that would be really cool too.
Nice. Oh yeah, sure would be.
Yeah.
Wow. And you said there was a stretch goal scythe or weapons pack?
Yeah, there's a weapon. If you roll down one more, I believe it should. Okay, let me put you down. There's a weapons pack. There's that right there. So that is the Mortem style Morn weapon. So the full length sword I showed you, similar design, and Curfew's axe is a similar design. So I'll have those like skull embellishments within the blades. So that'll be a 3-pack for $10.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like to imagine those skulls as like every time you take someone's soul or kill someone, then that person's skull ends up on the side of your blade or something.
Yep, exactly.
Dude, if someone comes at you with a scythe, you got to just turn and run.
For sure.
Oh my God,
for sure.
Especially with skulls on it, because then you know he means business. Like if he has like none or maybe one, you're like, okay, there's a chance. But like when he's like fully loaded with skulls and souls,
like, okay. And they're screaming, like the skulls are screaming, like they're moving, like the mouths are like contorting on. That'd be wild.
Like,
so is that
you're cooked? You're cooked, bro.
100%.
Is that a dagger or a short sword?
It's kind of a combination of both, really.
Okay.
So it's has a little bit longer handle, but it has a shorter blade, so it's more of a short sword. Yeah, I would say.
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh my God.
That's cool. $10. That's a great deal.
Yeah. And what's fun about this whole process, and I just want to say this before we forget, is I'm in a really unique and a fun position to be not only the producer for Ashen Oath, but the designer as well. So I'm able to speak to like why the skulls exist or why the design is the way it is. And so it's so empowering to bring a toy line to life that is so connected to me as an artist, right? We all know the dynamics of when you sub out work, it's always great work that comes back, but there's always like some level of sacrifice. You say, okay, well, that's good enough. You know, nothing's ever perfect. Even my work is not perfect. I could be tinkering it for the next 10 years and never release it, right? But there's just something that there's a soul to these pieces because my hands are so into it. Does that make sense? Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm connected. I'm so connected to this line. I hope you guys can feel it, that it's not touched by anyone else. It's me. You know.
Oh yeah.
And I love the lore. Oh, lore is so much fun.
Yeah. So if anyone, and I think you said this before, but so if anyone wants to learn more about their bios or their lore, they can go to Von Burke.
Von Burke Studios /blog. And then you can navigate towards the top. There is the stories up there. And like I said, between the two stories, it's a really short read. It's like 10 minutes. I didn't want you guys to get exhausted and see all this dialogue. Like, oh my God, this. But I packed so much into that that you get a really, really good idea of everything that's going on with the line. Like you will really feel it just in that little bit of lore. And then what I've also done in there too was, if you guys remember, at Legion's Con last year, I did a name drawing, a name generator for Ashen Oath. And the funny thing about that was I was like, okay, Ashen Oath doesn't even exist. How do I populate this world of Ashen Oath? How would that happen? Oh, name generator. Like, that would be really cool. But how would I do it? How would it look like? Oh, it'd be 2 bags. So then Roberto Suarez came up with this idea of doing these bags, have a first name and a second name. All I had were the names. Like I had all the first names and all the last names, and I didn't really know how to put it together. And then Roberto was like, let's do 2 bags and they can draw. And so that's what we did. You can draw a name. And then, and you could, get your first and like my Ashen Oath name was Eternal Fang. Oh yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
So stickers. They were stickers you can put on your badge.
Hey, Mike, I'll make you big. Hold on, Mike. It's probably back.
Shattered Blade.
Shattered Blade.
That's such a great name.
That is
Shattered Blade, baby.
So one of the bags had a white A on it. The second bag had a black O on it. And so that was the first and last name. You generate your Ashen Oath name. And what I wanted to do, and the way I built it up at the show, was imagine walking into a tavern in the world or a village, a pub of Ashen Oath. You enter as a nobody, kind of like you come in as strangers, you leave as friends. I love it when restaurants say that, right? I wanted that same kind of vibe. You come in as a nobody, but you enter the world of Ashen Oath as Shattered Blade. Go on to become, whatever. And it was a hit. Dude, it was a hit. Like everyone wanted their badge. I don't want to say everyone because I'm sure some people didn't have that, but a lot of people had. I'm leading up to something about these names. I got something I want to tell you about the lore. But everyone wanted to get these put on their name badges so people were walking around. It was amazing to see the different combinations people would draw. Like I said, mine was Eternal Fang. So mine would be mine's got to be like a
Cinder Watcher.
Dude, right? Come on. Cinder Watcher. That is so good. So good. And so that's how the names were created. But if you go to the website and you go to the lore page, you'll see Ashen Oath maxims. There are these little whispers that people do in the world of Ashen Oath, and they talk about different things. And sometimes people's names, the Ashen Oath drawn it will show up in the lore. Like I was, like characters will walk down this path and they crossed another, like a rogue or something, or a mercenary, and his name was, the whisper was this, right? It was Shattered Blade. And so it will give so people can read that like, oh my God, that was my name that I drew. That was me. I'm in the story. So that's been really fun to play with too. Cool. You can find those on the website also.
Nate Strong says this is 100% Brian Burke, and I'm so here for it.
Nate Strong. Remember Nate Strong.
See?
Remember, when you back this, you remember he's going to adopt me. I just want to make sure that backing this Kickstarter isn't going to put me that far behind because it's been years in the making for him, because he has like 10 rooms open at his mansion.
Oh my God.
You know what? His little donkey and pony.
So Nate.
Go ahead, finish.
Nate, so you back this, but right after you back this, we're going to go down to the courthouse and you're going to adopt me, baby. Okay, we got this going on. Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say Nate, Bill, and Trevor were the probably three scariest people that I seen when I first rolled up at the restaurant. I believe all three of them were at the restaurant, my first Legion's Con. And I was so nervous. And I think they were the first three people I saw. I was like, oh my God, that's them. And when you first meet those guys, they're very like stoic looking, right? They're just very, those are the guys. And I was like, here I am, this noob coming into this space from the West Coast. And here are these guys. And I was so scared of these guys. But over time, they've become such great friends. It's been so awesome. I look back now, I was like, I was so intimidated by those three people.
Kidding. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Now they're just, I mean, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, they're
so freaking cool.
Oh, the whole community's like that, and it's no one should be intimidated whatsoever because everybody's so welcoming.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what we're looking for in this Kickstarter is basically 2 tiers. We need to get to 150, 150,000, and then we need, once we hit there, we need to get to 230,000.
Yeah.
That is the 2 goals. A lot of Kickstarters have many tiers, but we have 2 tiers. We can make this happen.
Yes, sir. There might be a surprise 3rd tier though. I had mentioned before that there is a secret character in the works, and that might be a very small jump from the 230. So look at that guy. That's an early Mortem Resonance. So the armor there was like just like a mock-up chainmail. Where you see that upper thigh is all like random hand placed skulls now. They're all these little skulls.
Oh my God.
That are all like randomized in play. I can actually show you on my prototype that broke.
Oh no, that's the one that broke.
So, Brian, do they have this articulation?
Yeah.
This is phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to really engineer, you know, whenever I look at photographers, like toy photographers, and they get these characters in these dynamic poses, it's just so beautiful to see it work, right? Just to see how they can do that to make it's drama. It's dramatic. Like this shot right here is not anything. I mean, I'm not a great poser of characters. I'm not good at it. But when you just put it in this position, even the hand position, there's so much drama. The jaw being open, there's so much drama there, and I love that. And when you get a great photographer behind it, it just really adds to it. So I wanted something that really, I wanted articulation to be able to express the drama. The less movement or movement or range you get, the less drama, less character. Does that make any sense? The less character you get out of it, I guess. So I really wanted to have no limitations on what that drama would feel out without sacrificing form. Sometimes when you get too much articulation, you start to lose the artistry, I guess, the art.
Just notice his feet were hoofed right here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that wild?
I know. Like, looking at this.
Brad, can you go up to the blown apart figure? So
here, can you turn on my camera or zoom in on mine?
Yeah. Let me go back. Sorry, I'm not. Sorry. Let me blow you up here.
Yeah. So right here, if you look, it might not focus, but
let's see.
There
it goes. Nope, there it goes.
Kinda.
Yeah, I see him.
Up in this area, the thigh area, these are all
it's a skull, right?
Skulls. Yeah, you can't check.
Crazy though.
Yeah, these are all randomly placed skulls for the chainmail.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like when you go, I'll pull you back down before I go back over. Yeah, I mean that. Can you guys still see that? Oh well.
Yeah.
Where I'm pointing at. I mean, that's just cool.
Yeah. And that's, I'll tell you what, being the sculptor, that's something I could put like the 16th hour of my day in to do, to reach out to your artist that you subbed your work out to and say, hey, could you replace that chainmail with skulls? They're like, yeah, it's going to be X amount of dollars and it's going to be this much time, or, you know, what it might be. So it's nice that I can put in that sweat time to create some really interesting details.
Yeah, instead of having to pay a sculptor to do
Yeah.
that.
And
Yeah.
what's interesting at this picture right here is when you look at that center torso piece, that's one piece, but it almost looks like it's flexing, like it's like layered like
What?
plates, right?
It's
Yeah.
one piece?
Yeah, so it's one piece between you have a pelvis piece, you have the torso, then you have the chest, right? That middle part looks like almost like it's bending with it. But I
Yes.
wanted, when I design, I really look at lines. Like, what do the lines look like? How does it flow? Does it follow everything when it's bending? And so I really wanted that to come through on the torso.
It sure does look like
or
it's
gallery.
Mm-hmm. It's an illusion.
Wow, that is awesome. Wow.
Adds the drama to when you really flex that point of articulation. Yeah, if you guys want to go, you can guys go up to articulation breakdown, and then you can see the expanded view of what makes all that happen. So you can see that center torso piece is one. Lots of barbells. Some of these things will be adjusted to a certain degree from the factory, but this is my high level concept of what the articulation will look like. With the system for the wrist, you don't need to do horizontal or vertical wrists pins, I guess, because these ones will pivot within the hand and also rotate within the wrist. So you're getting both articulation there.
So let me ask you this, Brian.
Yeah.
Legions just blow all apart into 30 some pieces on these Ashen Oath figures.
Yeah.
What can we pop and swap between figures? Heads, pauldrons, feet, hands?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're going to have pauldrons that you can swap. You have heads you can swap. I'm looking into seeing if we can get these arms to swap, because it's basically just a ball joint and if you look right below the chest cavity, that's the centerpiece that's the junction that goes up into the chest. So the arms pop into that ball socket. So it creates it's like a faux butterfly effect. So you get a full range there, but essentially those should be able to be interchangeable because the deltoids are similar as a base model. So I'm looking into making sure that whatever can be swappable, it will, without losing the silhouette.
Gotcha.
And then what's interesting here too is, design. Here's a really interesting thought as a designer is a big decision you have to make is how do pauldrons mount, right? Because there's a lot of ways you can do it. The typical legions you have on the back. What I didn't want to do with that was you don't get the range of motion like an arm straight up above, right? You lose that range that way. So I wanted to create something that you can have a full rotation. I might have something here. Yeah, if you want to zoom in or put my camera up, I can show you a little demo. So this would be just like a standard side pose, right? Here's the pauldron. I have the pauldrons pinned on the deltoid, on the outside part of the deltoid there. And it'll be flexible, so you just pop this off. But what that does is if you want to go into a T pose, it will go like that, right? This ball go horizontally into the shoulder. So then you get your T pose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so instead of being hooked to the back, they are hooked on both sides of the shoulder.
And then check this out. So then what happens when you have this here, this arm can rotate all the way around and not have a pauldron get in the way.
Oh.
Still maintain a silhouette that the pauldron doesn't stick out too far. Still maintains a really nice silhouette. And so this was actually inspired by Jason from Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Said, hey, have you looked at the major blood character for the... Hey, babe. Oh, you're good.
What's up?
100 people watching you right now. No. Hey, she's the example of the people who made this happen, right? I was saying the foundational core that allowed me to do Ashen Oath. So anyways, yeah, that's the engineering idea for this, was to get the full range around really that way, and then having, that pivot point and having it removable, right? So you can actually swap out these pauldrons as well. I thought was really important. Hey. So that's just an engineering insight. That's the challenge. But Jason from AWOC said, hey, take a look at the Major Blood character from the Classified, and you might get some inspiration from that. And if you guys have that character, you'll see that his pauldron does mount that way. And I was like, I love that's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. So
that's nice. Cool. So for sure, we got pauldrons, head, hands, and feet that are going to be able to be puppets.
And people will get creative. I'm sure they'll start heating things up and customizing and doing whatever they need to make things fit as well. So that's a big focus of mine is what can we what can be interchangeable. And then these will be pinless as well. I think right here you're seeing a hole in the deltoid right in front of where the pauldrons would mount. There won't be any holes there. That should be a pinless technology where you won't see a hole there. You won't see pins on the elbows and knees. And yeah, there's I think there's 50 some pieces and 30 points of articulation.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And then that waist armor down there has changed too. It's a little bit different than that. I've redesigned that. Just the front piece, the loin piece.
The range of motion, I guess, once you put a pauldron on, as an example, I guess is limited where, you could see where almost things aren't limited. And it's kind of cool because especially being skeletons with armor, you expect them to almost be more flexible to like kind of get, you almost like want them to have these, or they should have these certain range of motions. So that's kind of cool that they're going to be like that.
Yeah, totally.
Nice. Oh my God.
And if you want to turn my camera on real quick, I can show you the silhouette. So then after all that being said, you get a really slim silhouette across the shoulders. It's not bulky at all. And that's what I really wanted to have, that shape that maintain a really nice form. Sometimes you get pauldrons and they just stick. I don't like it when they stick out too far. You lose this line. Like you just lose I don't know. I'm a big lines kind of guy. Like I'm getting to nerd out for a second here. But right here, this little bend right here matches some of the bends in the rib cage. Like the lines are similar. Okay. And I'd really try to focus on, no matter how you would turn it, things are bending in the same direction.
Nice.
There's a lot of lines that happen. I look at the pauldron here, this line that comes down here, does it line up with the spine? And dude, I'm telling you, it's a lot of time that I spend making sure that when you pose these things or when they're sitting there, that they have a special kind of look to them.
And I think that's, something like, to be said for, your quality there, or like you said, what you put into it.
Yeah.
Really does show. I'm
so close to it. The negative is sometimes takes way too long to get out there to market because I am doing those things and they may not matter, right? Do people really care about that stuff? I don't know. I do. And I think you ultimately make the toys you want to have, right? You want to make the toys that look badass in this way. And so you hope the community appreciates that. So you just do it anyways. And it's like, I could have probably just got away with just doing chainmail because that's just an easy click. You can actually map a piece and put chainmail on it. It's a quick process. Whereas placing skulls, like literally guys, like the skulls, when you look at the chainmail on the resonant, I placed every single one of those skulls.
That's like,
you know what I should do? I should map every skull and put a name to it. I need to do a contest and say, because all the skulls are like different shapes and whatever, and put a color code or map numbers like 100, 1 to 100, and map all the skulls and say, I'm going to do a contest and put people's names to it. And maybe have a map of it on like a website. Say, that's my skull. That's my face right there. That's my soul it took.
And I'm sure you have a number of how many skulls are on each leg, probably. So
I do.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, man. It's nerdy, dude. I know it's nerdy, but I love talking about it. Because you know what? You want to know something? 99% of the people in my life don't get it, right? It's like all my friends and family are like, what do you do? You make toys? Like you sculpt? What's sculpting? Like with what? Digital?
And that's the one thing you know, you put your name on something and you want it to be good. You know, you
Yeah.
want that quality to be good. You want the whole experience to be good.
Yeah.
You want everything to be good.
Yeah.
Everything that comes with buying something off Von Burke, you want to be top-notch excellence.
I do.
Well, I can see where, you know, doing 3D printed heads or, you know, whatnot, you know, now you're into full figure.
Yeah.
You know, you want people to know that
Yeah.
what you're bringing over here is the exact same thing and then some.
And then some. Yeah.
It amplified by 10 times, which is, you know, we're starting to see that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm getting excited.
Well, dude, thanks for, allowing me to, have a platform to talk about these really nerdy details. It makes me feel good that I can, let you guys know that this stuff exists. Like people design this way,
No,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that's what this is for.
Yeah, thanks. So cool.
Brian, is there anything we missed on the Kickstarter page that you want to highlight?
The poster is really cool. Like I really love this poster. I'm gonna do there are gonna be signed posters.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and then I'll do like I'll do a cool like gold pen signature on them. So it's gonna look really. I designed it in a way so it was more like a kind of a movie poster, like movie posters that showcase like certain actors or certain characters. So I really wanted the poster to look that way. There you go, and then you can go down. I think
That's the pen
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I think there might be better pictures on Instagram. But anyways, yeah, you guys take a look at that. But yeah, the poster was really, really fun to do. It'll be a neat one to have.
Here we go. Is this let me see if I'll pull this up. Is this it here?
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Cool.
And that's all practical photography. So this is my first stab at doing the screen in the background. So you do a TV screen behind, you light, try to do the set lighting to match the back. I took some inspirations from the guys, from Trevor and them, of how they do the technique and lighting the front and do complementary, kind of lighting. And it came together really well. I'll tell you, this is okay. I gotta tell you guys something. This is really nerdy.
50,000 now, they say. Woohoo!
Oh, yeah, baby.
Awesome. That's killer. Okay. This is how do I say this without sounding too anyways, okay. So in the 3D design space, you can go to these sites and you can buy brushes that do armor distressing. It just cuts the time in doing things. And I do that, to a certain degree. I'll get some things that make things look rough or whatever it might be, because you can't really stipple some of this stuff. There's two options that you can do and maybe this is a secret and then 3D designers are going to hate me for this, but there's two options you can do when you buy these things. There's a non-commercial option, right? Where it's just for personal hobby use. And then there's a commercial option that usually like 2 to 3 times more the cost, because there's a license involved to say, if it's going to be for a commercial project of this amount of dollars or more, I always pay for my stuff. I always buy the commercial stuff. I always stay within the guidelines of the licensing. Now, that being said, the picture that's back there behind him, I could have easily just screen grabbed that off the internet, blurred it out, and not give credit to the artist. I paid for that. I bought that on Shutterstock for $12, right? And for this one picture, I bought that stock photography and did it myself. So whenever you see things like, if you wonder, oh, is that AI? No, it's not AI. I can't do that. I have to be as practical and as organic as I can, because I hope that translates to being okay, he doesn't take shortcuts. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not taking shortcuts with this stuff at all. I am buying the stuff. I am doing the sculpting. I'm putting in this work, and I hope people appreciate that, because it's a lot of money and it's a lot of work to do that process. So that's where this poster, that's why I really appreciate this poster piece, is because it's a new thing for me to do that practical effect with the screen. And it's something that, I paid for, and it's just a new experience that I want to explore a little bit more and do. It turned out really cool.
So what's the size of the poster?
It's 11 by 17.
11 by 17.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sweet. Your or the Ashen Oath logo, how did you come up with that?
Can you tell what it is?
A and an O.
Yeah.
Correct?
That's exactly what it is. You know, I had the idea, and I don't want to paint the picture right now, because once I say it, you can't unsee it. But it was really inspired by Vesperon and the vampire. So if you look at it, they're kind of like vampire teeth, like creature teeth. So I wanted something that had like a creature element or a monster element to it. And it just, when I was sketching it out, I was like, oh, this is great. And then also, you know what's funny about this too? This reminded me when I was designing it, my old days in the 80s, the anarchy symbol, right? It was everywhere, like on jackets, on skateboards, the A with the circle. It was, everyone drew that thing. I was like,
I was saying we were drawing it in school, like on every book.
Yeah, it wasn't round like that. It was a straight, like it was a round with like an angular A in it. But it takes me back to those days of high school when you used to draw like anarchy symbols on these, but it's not, it has nothing to do with it. But it's more of, I wanted the A and O within it, but at a high level, I want it to look runic. I want it to look kind of like a rune also. So this checked all those boxes. Like, okay, it has this kind of monster vibe. You can associate it with this. Roberto and I were talking, and he came up with this idea. He's like, that could be a weapon. Like if you turned it around, like you can hold it, like the holes, the negative space in there could be the grip, and it could be like some kind of like a dual bladed like weapon. I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea. So kind of looks like a weapon.
Almost like a
Conan in the pit.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Totally. That'd be brutal. And you wrap it, like do a wrap, like some kind of a wrapping, like I did with the Mortem, like the Quiremorn sword, like a dirty leather wrap around the end of it. Oh man, you could throw it. Maybe it's something you could throw.
Or that,
you know how we always say that's totally mythic. Now we're gonna be saying that's totally ashen, bro.
If you
totally ashen, bro.
Totally ashen, bro.
If you invert that, it could be like the hilt of a sword where the handle comes out from the top, and then the two teeth or the bottom of the A, the blade comes out of that.
Oh, right.
And goes all the way up. Yeah.
Hey, you might see that. You might see that.
Yeah, nice.
Hey, tribute piece idea.
Yeah. I mean, this is all. So I love lore, and this is really dark. It's where the beginning Motu, the first comic series, was so dark, and then they babyfied it. Okay, so
I don't know a lot about the history of Motu. Was it really that dark originally?
Oh yeah, the original 4 original comics. Oh yeah. It's
awesome.
Pretty dark, yeah. So this is wonderful. Okay, so Brian, you hit 50,000. We're at 5,668.
Yeah.
So this is the next question I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
What are your expectations and then your hopes for this Kickstarter?
Yeah. I'm expecting it to be, like many have said, to be a marathon. It's not going to be a gimme. It's not going to be something that's going to be handed to me. I know we're going to hit this. We're going to have a 48-hour spike. That's why they say it's really important to get most of your funding in if you can within the 48 hours, because we're going to see a lull for a while until the last few weeks of the last couple of weeks of the campaign. We're running a 37-day campaign, so there's going to be a little bit of a lull in there. That's an expectation that I have. But what I do, my strategy is I have that new secret character that I'm wanting to launch that will appear during this lull. And there's another, and I'll ask you guys what you think about this one, but I'm thinking about what's nice about Kickstarters. I can't take away, or I can't change prices, or I can't change products that people have already pledged on, but I can add new products to the campaign. I have an idea of adding the painted prototypes that are in my case back here, the original ones I brought to LegionScon, the hand painted prototypes, as a 3-character set for like the Uber fan to really have where it all began, like to hold a real prototype. I mean, those aren't ever offered because they're really fragile. They're really expensive to make, and they're just a really important part of like creating the process. But I thought about, since I've made so many other paint masters for the official, sizing and colors, that these ones are just part of my personal collection. That I thought maybe, that'd be a cool carrot to dangle during the campaign, during that lull, to add it to that. So what do you guys think? Do you think that'd be a cool option available?
I think those should stay right on your shelf, actually, but that would be cool. I don't know. I think you would have a lot of whoever bought those, you'd be like, oh no, I don't have those anymore. I don't know.
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah.
It would be a cool
point. That's a good point.
So, but okay, so I am now going to ask you this.
Yeah.
When, not if, the Ashen Oath Kickstarter is successful, so when we hit that 150,000 mark within the next month, will we see more campaigns for this toy line in the future? And are you already working on them?
Yes and yes. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm already thinking, when you build out your first wave, you think, who's going to make the cut, right? Which character is going to make the cut? Who do I really want to, even in this series, right? Of the three, who do I want to see most, right? I love the Mortem, Resonant, and Quiremorn, and Corthanus. I mean, they're great. I love them all, almost equally. But I thought if I had to make a choice on the first three, who's going to be, and it would have to be, those three, because they're the first to show up in the story. The Eventides show up at the very end of, they make their appearance at the very end of part 2 of the story. So it made sense to have them to begin with. But as a whole, I had to look at, other characters like Eve. She'll be my first female character. She's part of the Eventide, and she's so cool. Like, I just absolutely adore her. So I would like for her to make, wave 2. There's that other character I was telling you about, who is more of like the mercenary, the kind of Mandalorian style character. His role, which is this is a really unique pitch on lore building, is he's a high level mercenary that has had to research his enemies or his targets in depth, environments, where they've been. So he's actually going to be my lore holder. Like, he's going to be like the oath holder. He's the one who has all the profiles of all the characters, the map, all the stories, because he had to do the research himself. And so one of the accessories I was thinking about having is like some kind of a book, or like a scroll or a journal that he carries with him, that he documents everything, and that becomes my lore. So we have this like 4D experience kind of thing, where what he's experiencing is actually the lore that you guys get to read about. And that'll be another character I'd really like to bring into wave 2. So I have a lot of different things. I have my dragon that I'm working on. I'm just kidding.
Oh, damn.
I just thought
is this the first time you mentioned a dragon?
I'm kidding.
The thing is, it would have to be called something else, like Skelegon.
Oh, there you go. I can't imagine what something like that would look like in this space. How bad that thing would be, like how evil something like that would be. But no, yeah, I am working on what the next wave is going to look like, and for sure.
Well, let's go to the chat. Let's see if they have any questions.
Yeah, what's happening? What's going on? I haven't even been able to look over there to see what's going on.
Go back up to the top.
So, chat, hit Brian up if you have any questions on this Kickstarter. Hit him up with the questions now. Brad, take a look and take it away.
Yeah. How many people are in chat right now?
We got 22.
Nice.
Let's see here. Toy Culprit says, back early if you can to help the algorithm. Payment isn't due until it closes. That is a great little tip there.
Oh, you know what? Colin is one of the people that should have been on my list earlier. He is so about promoting Ashen Oath and Brian Burke. So he is so good with the community. He is the guy that just supports everyone, and I can't appreciate you enough, man. He's always about, hey, did you pin this? Hey, did you put this here? Hey, did you have this? If you need to help on this, for your the Ashen Oath page, I can help you with this. He's always there, always there. You guys know he's just one of our family. He's been instrumental in getting the word out there. So Colin, thank you so much. You're a rock star, dude.
When he shows up at the con and takes like 1,000 pictures, probably more than that.
Dude,
but I mean, he takes thousands and thousands of pictures.
Yes.
He goes by every table, takes a little 15 to 30 second, maybe 60-second video, maybe a 2-minute video, and then he'll eventually go back and edit it and put it on some sort of TikTok or reel, and he'll definitely promote you. So he does a lot, So
he sure does.
He's moving around a lot too. I'm sure that guy's sweating because he's, he looks like Walter, the Legion's Con 21 when he was like,
yeah. Oh my God.
There.
So Brian, I'm going to throw a question in here. Blake Recon Rage, he lives out by you. He's having the Mythic meetup out by you. Are you going to that? Are you you're going to have a table there?
Yeah.
So
just
right there.
Just right up the road. I'll have the Ashen Oath paint masters up there, and all kinds of stuff. So
Here, I'll take this down for a second so I can highlight some of these comments. Where is the Recon? How is living in Oregon?
You ask. It's cold, it's rain, it's dreary, it's perfect for Ashen Oath. Like, it's really a mood setting. You know how some writers will go up in the woods in their cabin and just kind of get in that space? Well, I live in that space. It's dark and dreary, rainy, cold. It's perfect. Love it.
Aberdale says, let's get those test shots prototypes up there to help. I mean, hey. Recon says keep them, but let's see here. What's Nate Strong? What's the goal for a date to get these figures in our hands? That's a good question.
That is a great question.
Great question.
Yeah, that's going to be a flexible time period, but from what I understand, we're probably looking at first quarter 2017 or 2017. Wow.
Yes, it's here.
Yeah. You got him.
2027. So next year around the same time. It's quite the process to get these things in your hands. The biggest thing is making sure. My biggest thing is just the QC part of it, right? How is the tolerance on the joints? How is everything? I want to make sure the range of flexibility or range of motion's right before I release anything. And between now and then, I'll have tons of communications, just up to the minute communications through socials and through Kickstarter of exactly where we're at. If a goodie comes in from the factory, a picture or any kind of news, I'm going to be broadcasting that because I'm just as excited as anyone to get these in my hands. So I'd say first quarter of 2027.
2D4 Figures says, I hope to see some of your infamous crossbows in the line. I have a couple of unpainted ones, but would love to see those available in the line.
Yeah, that would be that's Eve's. That's her signature weapons. Our dual 6-layer crossbows, hand crossbows, like pistols. So for sure, those are coming.
Colin says it's fun being able to help out.
Yeah,
we appreciate you, sir.
Dude, totally. So
good. Here's a question. Are you?
Oh, is that the one, Mike?
No, no, not the one down. But let's do this one. This is good too.
Would you have any different races like goblins or?
Possibly, there might be something like that. There's, in the world of Ashen Oath, there are monsters. There's a wide range of creatures, so there's no reason why some of those type characters wouldn't exist. But if I did introduce them, it'd be in a fun, creative way of, like introducing a new land. I haven't even released my map yet. I'm still working on the map, but when you guys see it, it's going to be pretty cool. But there'll be areas that would make sense for some of these things.
I get it that like in the world of mythos, goblins are Arether, which is a badass, but I'd like to think that these goblins would be like on another level of dark from
It's
what
different.
you're.
Yeah.
It would be like high level dark, like
for sure.
like mob killing assassin goblins.
Yeah, I love it. I love
like
it.
gangster mob. like these are like straight.
Oh my god, that is so
killers,
inspiring,
bro.
dude. That is inspiring. I love that.
I
Oh my
mean, like
god.
these aren't what you particularly are going to think. Like,
Yeah. You're like,
they ain't
hold on a sec.
stealing nothing, bro. They are straight taking
Wait.
your shit.
Wait for the reveal. You're like, oh god, what
Well,
is
MJ Staten asks, are we going to get steeds?
Oh, Brian, will you make creatures to ride? That's a good question.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely on the table.
I mean, maybe not a skeleton dragon like that big, but like a Falcor skeleton dragon from like Neverending Story. But like,
there you go. There you go.
I'll take it. Freaks figures. When I initially went to back Kickstarter, was going through technical difficulties, but since this show started, I have officially pledged and became a backer of Ashen Oath.
Nice.
Thank you, baby.
I need like a bell. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
Awesome, dude. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle today about people just trying to get in, get in and get out. And so I'm glad people are getting through.
I think that's a good sign, though. I think that was just a sign that like everybody jumped in. You know what I mean? At the same time,
it just so happened right at 8 a.m. East Coast. It like shut. Everything was fine up until I was testing. Making sure everything was fine. Kickstarter was fine, and the moment 8 o'clock hit, it just shut down. I was like, oh, okay, maybe we crashed it.
See, it shouldn't be a sign to not buy it. It should be a sign that, like, dude, everybody's getting in on this.
Yeah,
you need to get on it too,
yeah. It's a little validating, right? Like you're on the right team.
How tall will the female figures be? Good question, Carlo.
Yeah, I would say I would like them to be close to the same height, if not shorter, or whatever. I'm not in a space that I think that. I mean, what if it was taller? Like kind of like an Amazon type scale where it was actually a bigger, I'm not in the camp of saying, women have to look this certain way, they have to be shorter or they have to be not as armored or not. I don't operate that way. I'm far from my programming. But whatever she would be, she would just be killer. Like she would just be like badass. You know what I mean? In a way that just makes sense.
Or just give her some like kick-ass like killer high heels, like the ones that like daggers on. I'm like, bang!
Totally.
By the way, shout out to Carlo, Immortal Collections, who are our loan sponsor to the Legion's Lair. We love Immortal Collections.
Very cool.
Okay, so Nate Strong comes up with the best questions ever.
Okay, here we go.
That's why he's gonna be my dad.
Hey, Daddy.
I love that. Adopt me. I'm coming down the courthouse. So
if you could choose one way to share the story behind the figures, what would you choose? Novels, comics, animated series, feature film, or a video game?
Feature film all the way.
Yeah,
100%. But print would be a close second. I think video game is probably towards the end. I love video games. I'm inspired. That's part of my inspiration is games like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, a lot of those type of games that are that real dark. Yeah, those real dark and gritty games. Dark fantasy, high fantasy. Big fan of them, but I'd say that's probably least on the radar, unless I don't know. But yeah, feature film I would say would be the biggest path. I think I'm more connected in the feature film world. I have a lot of friends that do like Dean Carr, who is a big time video music producer for like Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne. He's a good friend of mine. And so and there's a couple of actors I know too that I think I'm closer to that space that we could probably get something way down the line, like get some sort of a licensing deal to do some sort of an Amazon movie of some sort. But I would say feature film would be. Feature film is like the most ambitious and most expensive way to go. But I'm open for
series would be cool.
Animated series would be super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to see your characters in another form, I guess.
Have you guys watched Primal?
No, but you're not the first person that says I need to watch that.
It's real good. And the reason I say that is Tchaikovsky, I can't remember the artist's name, but the essence of that show would be something along the lines like the brutality of it.
Yeah.
Would be something I would probably want if it was going to be an animated show.
Okay, now who's the director?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think I know the studio, but I'm not sure. Oh, you know who would be? No, I can't say that. I would say A24 is like one of my favorite like production. I think they make some of the most shocking films. They're not necessarily a fantasy. Well, they did Green Knight, I think. But anyways, God, that's a tough one. I'm not sure the director. Someone that's shocking, like Aster, what's his name? Aster, who did Hereditary. I think he did Hereditary. Have you guys seen Hereditary? Oh my God, dude, you gotta watch that if you haven't seen it. Brutal movie, but great director. Does some really. I think he did The Witch too. The Witch also. I mean, anyways, yeah. Gendy. He's the artist for Brutal. Brutal. So such a good.
That's cool.
Such a good show.
That's so awesome.
Those are great questions. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was gonna say those were really great questions.
Yeah, he came up with some good ones. Well, guys, I think we're there. Other than Brian, do you want to? Well, actually, before we
go back and see if we've added any more. Add a little bit.
There it is, a little bit more.
Yeah, just keep chipping away.
233 backers. Let's go.
Well, before we have you give us any final words and thoughts, Brian, we're going to kind of let people know who's on the Lair next Tuesday at 7.
I'll put up a banner. We are going to have on March 31st, episode 9, our guest will be the Latin Legions. We're going to have Matt, Alberto, Tony, and Psycho Ed.
Very cool.
We're going to have a whole load of people. Yeah.
I think Ed has been on our show individually at one point, but now we're going to bring the whole Latin Legions on. We're going to throw them into the fire. Yeah.
Hot seat. Hold on a second.
In the hot seat.
Brian has to answer one hot seat question before we go.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No.
Oh my God. Turn up the heat, Brad.
Here we go.
Okay. What is your favorite tribute figure? Rotor of Bjorngar with his magnificent
I didn't bring my
metallic love pillow pauldrons, or Emir Kaspar with his blowgun of death.
There's no wrong answer.
I am not going to answer that.
There's no
way I'm answering that. They're both awesome. I can flip a coin. But no, I'm not answering that. No way.
We're both awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a tie, Mike. It's a tie. That's a win for me. Yeah.
It's a win for both. We I think.
Well, Mike went like 6 or 7 weeks with the guests going, well, Mike's figure is pretty cool. And I'm like, of course, it's Chloe's Scapular version 2 Crypt Breaker Kick-Ass Amir Kaspar.
Right.
Okay.
Broder. Yes.
Brian, you might want to get your sword ready.
Oh.
Are you ready, Brad?
Yes.
Let's give it to him. Give him the double knighting for the night.
and you will be knighted.
Oh, hold on.
Knighted. Dude, that I wish everyone had a sword. Come on. Why can't everybody just have a sword at their house when we enter?
That is the best
I
knighting
can't
ever.
send this to everybody. I have extra.
So,
That
Brian,
was awesome. Yeah.
any final thoughts here that you want to convey to everybody?
Oh, I just want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting the Kickstarter and everything leading up to the Kickstarter as well, the support and the words of support and just everything. And then you wonder, a lot of people will say, yeah, I'll support. You just never know what's going to happen, but people just came out, they really came out and helped support my passion, and I'm really thankful for that. So, and this is a special episode too for me because this is the day of the launch, and so right at the height of excitement and appreciation, I'm able to talk to everyone who has been backing the Kickstarter, and so it's just a really great experience to be here today to do that. And I just want to thank everyone for the support going forward, and then I'm going to do my best going forward for to market the project, to get this funded, to get these figures in your hand, and to really make sure that the investment is protected and that, not cutting corners, and make sure doing everything right. That was one of the biggest reasons of having Four Horsemen be behind production, is I knew that their factories were safe. We wouldn't have to worry about bootlegs. It was going to have the most care that can be given to a toy line. And that's why I chose to have them. Plus they're just badass anyways. They're great people. They're my family. So I just, want to let you guys know that you're in good hands for this Kickstarter, and I appreciate you coming out to support. So thank you.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Lair with us, going through this amazing new Kickstarter for us. And like I said, it is not if, it's when it funds.
Yeah.
So we will get there, and this action figure line will become a reality, and I couldn't be happier for you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate you guys. It's been a lot of fun being on here.
Hell yeah, it was a good show.
Totally.
Yeah, we're right at the 2-hour mark. That's perfect.
Hey, it's awesome.
Nice.
Very cool.
Okay.
All right, peeps. We'll see you next week. Until then, peace.
Peace.